taken as prisoners of war, an experience that would shape anyone's life. Can you describe and unpack the moment you were captured and what went through your mind and your mom and dad's mind at the time?
Yeah. So a little bit of a background to the specific conflict in our hometown. For listeners that don't care to study it or anything, brief synopsis of the conflict in former Yugoslavia. Former Yugoslavia was a socialist country made up of, it is a federation of 6 states. These states were brought upon together after World War II by Marshal Tito and the Communist Party. Marshal Tito was the president for life until 1981 from the World War II. Definition of a dictator is always hard to say. Let's call him a benevolent dictator. Everybody loved him. It didn't matter that I mean, it's a dictatorship and nobody else can take power, right? It's not a democracy. There's no voting for the president. He is it. But he was loved. And while I'm sure that he had his flaws and things like every other human does, one thing that he really leaned hard into is brotherhood and unity between Serbs, Croatians, Muslims, and Slovenians, right? Those are the largest, call them nationalities. I hate that term because we were supposed to be one nation, but they allowed that separation to stay under the guide for a long period of time. But during his tenure, I think Yugoslavia thrived. We were never part of the Soviet Union or the Eastern Bloc. It was one of the independent states. Tito was very firm with Stalin in 1948 that we'll go to war if you try to, do something. So we built this interesting economic model there that Tito and the party built. It was called market socialism. So they allowed for the development of private sector. They allowed for economic prosperity that it's very similar to, say, democratic or capitalistic societies, but large, big entities, big companies were still publicly owned, i.e. owned by the government, right, ran by the government.